Network is an alliance of higher education institutions and other related sustainability organizations, agencies, NGOs, and industries in Southeast Asia countries committed to promote, engage and integrate sustainability in their teaching, research, community engagement and institutional engagement. CISN provides a platform to support higher education institutions, other related sustainability organizations, agencies, NGOs and industries, in Southeast Asia countries in the exchange of ideas, findings, information, and good practices in teaching, research, community engagement and institutional arrangement with a focus on water, energy, health, agriculture, biodiversity, with 3 cross-sectoral: climate change and disaster risk management, consumption and production, population and poverty. The objectives of this network are promoting sustainability in higher education institutions, other related sustainability organizations, agencies, NGOs and industries in Southeast Asia countries, sharing information and best practices in sustainability, exchanging ideas and research findings in sustainability and collaborations in projects on sustainability. CISN aims to be a sustainability-led network by doing promotions such as campaign and exhibition for best practices, capacity building or training, publication, meeting, and conference or workshop or seminar. For collaborative projects, education sustainability development and research. Currently, CISN have 38 organizations from Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam and Thailand as follows. Let us together hold our hands to ensure a sustainable world tomorrow. The Sustainability Network is an alliance of higher education institutions and other related sustainability organizations, agencies, NGOs, and industries in Southeast Asia countries committed to promote, engage and integrate sustainability in their teaching, research, community engagement and institutional engagement. CISN provides a platform to support higher education institutions, other related sustainability organizations, agencies, NGOs and industries, in Southeast Asia countries in the exchange of ideas, findings, information, and good practices in teaching, research, community engagement and institutional arrangement with a focus on water, energy, health, agriculture, biodiversity, with 3 cross-sectoral: climate change and disaster risk management, consumption and production, population and poverty. The objectives of this network are promoting sustainability in higher education institutions, other related sustainability organizations, agencies, NGOs and industries in Southeast Asia countries, sharing information and best practices in sustainability, exchanging ideas and research findings in sustainability and collaborations in projects on sustainability. CISN aims to be a sustainability-led network by doing promotions such as campaign and exhibition for best practices, capacity building or training, publication, meeting, and conference or workshop or seminar. For collaborative projects, education sustainability development and research. Currently, CISN have 38 organizations from Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam and Thailand as follows. Let us together hold our hands to ensure a sustainable world tomorrow.
So, hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our first episode of season webinar series, hosted by Center for Global Sustainable Study, University Science Malaysia, co-organized with Malaysian Society of Pharmaceutical Technology as well as the School of Pharmaceutical Sciences, University Science Malaysia. In this particular topics is sponsored by University of East Anglia through the project of Children Malnutrition funded by Global Research Translational Awards. My name is Chan Xiao-Yi. Please call me Sam. And I'm here with you today to learn about the topic related to Sustainable Development Goal 2, which is zero hunger. Today's guest is one of the associate professor for Community of Nutrition. She has been working on providing science advice to a number of dietary guidelines and reports in Malaysia. Her research focusing on seeking to understand the dietary determinants of malnutrition, specifically on obesity and cardiometabolic health in young people, and also the factor that influence the dietary intake in populations, including food prices and affordability. She is an honorary secretary of Malaysian Association for the Study of Obesity and an active member of Malaysian Dietetic Association and Nutrition Society of Malaysia. With her outstanding track record, she is also appointed as the associate editor for the top-ranked Q1 journal in public health nutrition. So please help me to welcome associate professor from University Putra Malaysia, Dr. Gita Apana. Hi, Dr. Gita, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Dr. Sam, very nice introduction, thank you. That's very nice.
Okay, just for the audience information, the Global Nutrition Report 2020 quoted that Malaysia still experiences a malnutrition burden among our under 5 populations. And Malaysia has continued to seek for solution in this regards. And one of the example that I can quote, which is very near to me, is the initiative of USM when we have these staff household nutritional programs. As everyone deserves to access to healthy, affordable and food quality nutrition care, it is critical for us to create awareness among our community to achieve the nutritional well-being. So with that, maybe Dr. Gita can share a more insight about the status of nutrition in Malaysia, as well as this often quoted dual burden of malnutrition as public health concerns among the children in Malaysia. So Dr. Gita, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Sam. So I'm going to share the slides.
Yes.
All right, yeah, so good morning. Thank you again, Dr. Sam, for inviting me to give a talk or presentation about this very important topic. It's very timely that we already have this problem all this while, and with the COVID problem, it is speculated. We don't have the data yet, but it is speculated that the problem will go even more higher. So thank you for your initiative. This is a very platform to share about my knowledge on this topic. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about the double burden of malnutrition in children. Yeah, specifically in children. But we also will see the effects. It goes over the lifetime. Yeah. Now, before I start, I just want to declare some conflict of interest, just in case if anybody asks. Just want to let you all know that I've been a co-investigator in one of the nationwide Ministry of Health funded study on evaluating of program for rehabilitation of malnourished children, known as PPKZM, in 2016 to 2019. This is known as Bakul Makanan Project Bakul Makanan, by Kementerian Kesihatan grants, Ministry of Higher Education grants on studying malnutrition, specifically obesity and cardiometabolic race in Malaysia. So this is the outline of my talk today. I'm going to give some introduction to malnutrition. Yeah, what constitutes malnutrition, some data, prevalence data on stunting and childhood overweight and obesity, the consequences of being stunting, yeah, or being overweight during childhood stages, and also the risk factor or drivers for this, and some recommendations to prevent this. So I'm sure that I'm not sure the interest that all of you are here today, but I'm sure you have seen the headlines like this, over the time, such as like, Southeast Asia children face double burden of obesity and undernutrition. This is similar to Malaysia. Okay, and you probably have seen this very shocking news that Malaysia's childhood stunting prevalence or data is even more higher than some countries. For example, Palestine and several African countries. This was very, very shocking when it was reported in 2019. And we also see headlines like, for example, malnourished children at higher risk of contracting or COVID-19 now, okay, at the moment. So this is very, it is common headlines like, so it's, it's not something that we all don't know, we probably know to a certain extent. Now, what constitutes malnutrition? So you probably are wondering, what is malnutrition is all about, yeah? A lot of people think malnutrition is, undernutrition, tak cukup makan, yeah? That is what constitutes malnutrition. You are right, but it's not right, in a very broader sense, yeah? You are right at a certain extent. Now, so malnutrition constitutes wasting. Okay, so as you can see, the diagram or figure here. So normal child should look, a child in the blue box. Yeah, most left in this here in this slide. A child should look normal like this with ideal weight and height for the age. Yeah, wasting is known as thinness, is reflecting low weight for height. Yeah, so this is a child who's having a wasting problem would look like. Yeah, so he or she may have appropriate height but not weight, so low weight for height. Yeah, so this is known as wasting. The other thing, other problem that's really talked about now is about stunting. Yeah, or we know this as shortness. Yeah, this is where linear growth deficits. Yeah, so the child will look short for the age. Yeah, so in comparison to a child in the blue box, this child will look shorter. Yeah, shorter compared to the age of this normal age. Yeah, for this normal kid. Now, the other thing is underweight. Underweight is when low body weight for age is detected. So this is underweight. So this child may have low weight for the age. Yeah. Therefore, because of the low weight, this child may also appear to look shorter compared to the normal weight child. Yeah, in comparison to the weight of his or her age. Yeah. So this is constitutes one spectrum of malnutrition. Yeah, the other spectrum of malnutrition is what we call as overweight obesity. Yeah, and you probably know the definition of this. This is when a child is having high body weight for her or his age. Yeah. The other thing, there are two more important components of malnutrition. Yeah, one is what we call as protein deficiency malnutrition. This is specifically when one child is having protein deficiency. Yeah, the intakes of protein is not enough, so this child may have protein deficiency malnutrition. The most common ones is micronutrient deficiencies, especially in Malaysia. Yeah, this is what we call as the hidden hunger. This person may look normal, yeah, as normal as the child in this blue box, but the person might have micronutrient deficiencies. Yeah, and most important deficiency that we see in Malaysia, the common ones are vitamin A, vitamin D, zinc, iodine, iron, or folate, and this is what is causing anemia, and calcium. Okay, so these are the deficiencies deficiencies are very common. We know this as a hidden hunger. Yeah, the person may not show it obviously, but they might be having deficiency. That's the danger. Now, so as I mentioned earlier on, so stunting refers to a child who is too short, yeah, for his or her age. So you can compare your child growth from the growth chart in your buku kesihatan kanak-kanak, yeah. So in buku kesihatan, you see at the last pages there is various charts, right? So you can refer to the chart, the weight and height chart. So for stunting, you have to refer to the height chart, and you can see where your child grow. Yeah. So stunting refers to a child who is too short for his or her age. So it has to be in accordance to the age, and you have to check the height, and then you have to plot it and see where your child grow. Yeah, where your child belong. Yeah. These children can suffer severe irreversible physical and cognitive damage that accompanies stunted growth. Yeah. So this is the bad or the sad thing about these children who are stunted is that they may have the severe irreversible physical damage and cognitive damage as well. Yeah. The other thing, the other thing that I would like to highlight about stunting is that this effect of stunting, yeah, can last over a lifetime and can be also passed to a next generation. I will talk about this later on in next slide, in the next slide. We'll leave it to that later. The other thing about malnutrition is overweight, which is a very concern. Now in Malaysia, we have way too many number of overweight children, obese children. And this is referring to a child who is too heavy for his or her height. Yeah, this form of malnutrition result from energy intakes. Yeah, way too much energy intakes from food and beverages that exceeded the children's energy requirement. Yeah. And these children often develop non-communicable diseases early in life. Yeah, so this can be a risk, yeah, for morbidity and mortality. The other thing that I also want to talk about, but I just want to briefly talk about this is wasting. Yeah, so wasting refers to a child who is too thin for his or her height. Yeah, wasting is normally a result of recent weight loss or failure to weight gain. Yeah, to gain weight. Yeah, normally children who's exposed to infection, poor hygiene, poor sanitation, children who's normally having a problem of wasting. Right. What I would like to highlight from this slide is that this problem do not necessarily happen in isolation. That means the children may suffer for more than one form of malnutrition, yeah, such as stunting and overweight, or stunting and wasting, or the other combination as well. Yeah, there are currently no joint global or regional estimate for these combined conditions of this problem. Yeah, so a child can be overweight and stunted at the same time. A child can be stunted and being wasted at the same time. Yeah, so this is more alarming. Yeah, even with a single problem is already alarming, but even so when you have two or more combination. Yeah, sometimes overweight and stunted children may also have micronutrient deficiency. Yeah, so that's triple problem already. Okay. So when this slide is explaining to you when the child go through a process of life, especially for girls, when she get pregnant, undernutrition in the sense of stunting or underweight, these girls probably will have perinatal complication, premature and low birth weight, and chronic diseases for child in later life. Yeah, and also when this girl is having hidden hunger, for example, deficiency in micronutrients, can also cause maternal mortality and morbidity. Yeah, can cause death or other diseases. Mortality refers to death. Morbidity refers to diseases. Yeah, disease of diseases. Can also cause when this girl is deficient in certain, for example, folate or iron deficiency, she may have neural tube defects in newborn. She may deliver a newborn with this problem, neural tube defects. Yeah. and also prematurity, low birth weight, and impaired cognitive development in newborns. All right. So this is a problem when this girl is having hidden hunger, deficiency in certain micronutrients, and being pregnant. Yeah. The other thing is like girls who are pregnant and also overweight, yeah, including being obese, may also develop gestational diabetes and preeclampsia. Yeah. Diabetes is diabetes, yeah, condition that happens during pregnancy. And preeclampsia is because of a high blood pressure, yeah, during pregnancy. And this can cause obstetric complications and can overweight and chronic disease for child in later life. Yeah, so a child born to this woman who's big may also born big and therefore being overweight and obese later in life. All right, and currently there are more than one in three children not growing, more than 1 in 3 children not growing very well. Yeah, having said that, these children is having problem either being stunted or wasted or being overweight. Yeah, this is a global indication. Yeah, and over 340 million children suffering from deficiencies of essential micronutrients and minerals. Yeah, so at least 1 in 2 children are having hidden hunger. That means having deficiencies in micronutrients, which is very alarming because 1 in 2, yeah, so 1 in every 2 children having micronutrient deficiencies. So the double burden of malnutrition. So my talk today will be focusing on these two problems, which is way too common. Yeah, one is talking about undernutrition. I'm only going to focus on stunting. Yeah, and the other one is overweight and obesity. Yeah. So as I mentioned just now, so more than 1 in 3, yeah, children from low income and middle income countries are affected by both undernutrition and obesity. All right. So when I say they are affected by both undernutrition and obesity, this is the double burden or the dual burden. All right. So undernourished children with, for example, children who stunted, children who's wasted, children who's thin, yeah, they may have health outcomes even in the childhood stage. Yeah, a lot of children die because of infection, because of the immune system is not well developed, because of the problem they have. So they may have more infection, they die because of that, other diseases, and also poor physical health. Yeah, not growing appropriately to the according to the age. Yeah, so that's poor physical health, and this is same goes to overweight and obesity children as well, right? And of course, there are two different extremes, and this is caused by quite a number of risk factors which is different, but there are several risk factors that overlaps between being undernourished or overnourished in this sense. Yeah. The thing is, I would like to highlight in this box is that people can shift. Yeah, people can shift between these cycles within their life. So children who's undernourished, who stunted at early in life, yeah, for example, early in life, this child can grow and become obese later in life. Yeah, so this can shift between the cycle. Yeah, from being stunted, the child can be obese later in life. Yeah, so this increasing both the risk and severity of health consequences. And the double burden can be at the country level, can be in the household, can be at individual level. So when I say country level, it's pretty much population study. Yeah, saying that in Malaysia, for example, we have a double, triple malnutrition problem. So it means there are children who are stunted, there are children who are overweight, there's children who are having micronutrient deficiency. Okay, so that's at country level. But when we talk about household, yeah, within one household, there might be overweight and undernourished individuals living in the same household. Yeah, if two siblings, one can be overweight, one can be underweight. Yeah, that happens, and this is what data are saying. Yeah, mother can be overweight, child can be underweight, or child can be stunted. Okay, so this is at household level. And when I talk about individual level, this can be as in like a child can be stunted and being micronutrient deficient, or a child can be obese or can be micronutrient deficiency at the same time. Yeah, so that is at the individual level. So this is this slide also explaining the same thing as I explained just now. So malnutrition can be at individual level, yeah, with the simultaneous presence of 2 or more types of malnutrition, yeah, and this can be happen over a lifetime or at the same time as well. Household level with multiple family members affected by different forms of malnutrition. Yeah, so this is at the same house, living in the same house, eating from the same pot, but one can be obese, one can be stunted. Yeah. Population level is when with both undernutrition and overweight prevalent in the same community, region, or national levels. All right. And we should act. Yeah. Double burden is an important opportunity for action on malnutrition in all its forms. Yeah, we should really act because of the devastating effects it's having on our children, yeah, and their generation. Okay, so addressing malnutrition is essential to achieve the sustainable development goals, and this is one of the important things that Dr. Sam highlighted just now as SDG number 2. Yeah, to have zero hunger. Okay, so malnutrition is one of the utmost important. Addressing malnutrition is one of the utmost important to achieve that target. Yeah, the goal. And nutrition is critical to both health and economic development. So it's not only talking about, of course, it's important for the child to grow, at the most ideal optimum level, yeah, of, that right as a human, but also because we want to have proper economic development, yeah. And also focus and investment for integrated solution will tackle malnutrition in all its forms. So it's not a single, it's not one team, it's not a single discipline kind of way to address this, but we need to include many institutions, many agencies to work together and also integrate solutions to tackle malnutrition. Yeah. Good nutrition will promote maternal, infant, and child health, will improve school and education performance, yeah, having a very good cognitive level, not having a low level of absenteeism, yeah, and so on, and also support and stronger immune system so that we can, prevent infections and so on, and reduces the risk of other non-communicable diseases. So as I mentioned, the definition for malnutrition varies from one study to another study. Yeah, as a researcher myself, I also can sometimes quite, I'm puzzled to see there's many definitions for malnutrition. The thing is, so this is a table showing you different types of definition used in many studies. This is a systematic review. That means there's 623 studies being compared in this review, and the most common definition of malnutrition is when there is a coexisting, for example, coexisting overweight, obesity, and thinness, wasting, and underweight. Yeah, so this is the most common. But however, there is no data at the individual level. So that means they didn't study whether an individual can be obese or can be thin or can be underweight at the same time. They didn't study. Yeah. So I'm therefore very much interested with this, the second box, also a very popular definition being used in many studies, whereby overweight, obesity are always being studied with stunting. Yeah. So this is the focus of this today's presentation. Yeah. And there's a lot of studies that conducted at the individual level. That means a person can be stunted and become overweight, yeah, over the lifetime or at the same time. Now, this is definitely a global problem. Yeah, we see this in many countries. Yeah, regardless of their wealth. Yeah, even high economic and developed country also have some level of malnutrition. Okay, so this we are not alone in this challenge. Okay, that's what I want to tell you. Okay, we are not alone. This is definitely a global problem. As you can see, this is data from Global Nutrition 2018, where they have mentioned about how much country burden like. Yeah, so of course countries that's more developed, they probably don't have much of the undernutrition problem, yeah, so don't know much of the stunting problem or wasting problem and so on, but they have very much of the overweight problem. So countries like America, Australia, and certain Latin American countries having only problem of overweight. Yeah, but we as in Malaysia, yeah, and certain African country having triple problem actually: overweight, yeah, stunting, also anemia. So anemia is because of the iron deficiency, yeah, iron folate deficiency in certain extent, yeah, mostly it's because of iron, and this is the, our country like, yeah. Those shaded in gray are having problem with anemia and stunting mainly, yeah. They don't have a problem of overweight because they are from the lower economic regions, yeah. For example, like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, certain Africa country, yeah. So we are the upper, so they're the lower developing with we are the upper. So the upper, so it's really depending on the regions where we are from, depending on the classification of the wealth of the country, yeah. So this is another study looking only at the Asia Pacific region. Yeah, so this is double burden of malnutrition in the Asia Pacific region. Also a systematic analysis, systematic review and meta-analysis. And what they have concluded is that you just focus at the figure or the graph where I have these boxes in red. So this is in female girls age between 5 to 18, boys age 5 to 18. If you can see, we actually at the top here. Yeah, what does it mean? It means that we have high prevalence of overweight, because this axis is representing the overweight. Yeah, but this axis is representing undernutrition. High prevalence of weight, but not so high on undernutrition. Yeah. Okay. Similarly, the same goes to those adults or over 18 years old. Yeah, over 18 years old also similar, where we have high prevalence of overweight, but not so much of undernutrition. Yeah, because there are countries, more countries like India, Bangladesh is like, you know, they are more in terms of undernutrition. And for and male separately, but if you look at both together, we also at the top, yeah, in terms of overweight, but in terms of undernutrition, we are not doing that bad. It still is a problem, yeah. So what I'm trying to say from this is, from the global perspective, what we a map we saw just now, we are having a problem. Even at Asia Pacific, we are having a problem. We definitely at the top level of problem when we are comparing Asia Pacific. Yeah. The good news is that stunting, we see decline in the number of stunting. Yeah, globally. All right. So if you see, this is a percentage of stunted. In the blue line here is representing stunting. Yeah, for stunting children. Between 2000 and up to 2019, we see a decline here. Yeah, which is a good news. Yeah, this is in terms of percentage. This is in terms of number. Okay, so from 199.5 million, there's a reduction up to 144 millions in number. Okay, being reduced over this almost like 19-20 years. Okay, so we see reduction in number of stunting, and most declines are seen in Asia and also in Latin America and the Caribbean region. All right. So when you see Asia, that means we are part of that. All right. And more, when I mentioned just now, that you know, this is really depending. Even the reduction is really depending on the region, on the classification of the wealth. Yeah, according to the region. So when we see Malaysia is classified as having a upper middle income country. This is by the World Bank group classification. So we belong to this upper middle income country. And if you see this graph, you know, in general countries classified in this wealth classification, they also have reduction in the number of stunting. Yeah, number of children with stunting. Yeah, between year 2000 to 2019. All right. So there's a reduction. This is, you know, literally very good news. Yeah, and you know, reducing a complicated problem like stunting to this level is definitely very good news. Yeah, for many of us. And different regions have different levels of reduction. Yeah. Of course, children from high income country, they probably don't have much. Yeah. So they remain the same, and this is way too little. Now, but the not so good news is that improvement in stunting is way too slow. Yeah, we don't see a drastic improvement that much. Yeah, improvement rather having a very slow pace rather than a very drastic reduction. Yeah, even with this kind of reduction that you saw earlier on, there'll be about 130 million stunted children in 2025. Yeah, if the current trends continue, even with the reduction you saw earlier on, we still have like around 130 million stunted children in 2025. Yeah, this is a report by Global Nutrition. Yeah, in 2018. On the other hand, the alarming news is that over 250 million kids will be obese by 2030. We are not too far from 2030. Yeah, and if you don't do anything now, there'll be probably this much of number of children will be obese. Yeah, so in 2025 there'll be 206 million children will be living with obesity, and in 2030 there'll be 254 million. Yeah, over 250 million kids. All right, and this is all of course this is predicted number, and this prediction is done using some modeling, and this modeling using certain criteria. Yeah. What about stunting in Malaysia? Yeah, you probably wondering what is the level of stunting in Malaysia as such. Yeah, as I mentioned, one of the headline earlier on, they compared stunting with certain countries in Africa. Yeah, so you can see the comparison here clearly. We, as in here, 20.7%. This is in 2018. Yeah, we have slightly more now, but in 2018, the prevalence was 20.7%. Yeah, of course, this is higher compared to some countries. Yeah, for example, even higher than Ghana. Yeah, and West Bank and Gaza. Yeah, 7.54%. And if you still remember the slide when I mentioned about upper middle income countries, the value was 6.9%. Yeah, we even higher than the value of the upper middle income countries. Yeah, so we are the exception. Even though the value was 6.9, that is the average. Yeah, so there is a dispersion. Yeah, in terms of the number. So we are one of the higher ones. Yeah, 20.7%, and definitely higher than other middle income countries. Now, when we look comparison between reduction in the world, yeah, in terms of stunting number, yeah, stunting prevalence, world are seeing reduction, but Malaysia is going back to the baseline number. Yeah, so in 1997 or I think it's 1998, around 2000, the number was the prevalence was 20.7. In 2017 or 2018 now, we are back to the original. Yeah, although we see some reduction, now you are back to the original prevalence. Yeah, so we are rather showing increasing trend now. Yeah, when the prevalence in the world are showing reduction. Yeah, over the time. The latest finding in Malaysia with regards to stunting prevalence is that we are of course in the increased trend. Yeah. From 2011, I'm comparing data from National Health and Mobility Survey. Comparing from 2011, we are definitely on the rise, yeah, in terms of the stunting prevalence. The latest is 21.8, yeah, around 22%. Yeah, so there's 2 in 10 children are being stunted. And when we look this across these household income categories, we saw that this is not a problem from lower income household income people. Yeah, this is rather a problem across any income level. Yeah, if you see here, the bar is showing the percentages of stunting by income level. And we see this in all the categories. Of course, the highest is coming from the lower income categories, but even those who is in the highest category also having certain having children who stunted in this. Yeah, and again with the comparison of the upper middle income countries, the average of 6.9, definitely all the income categories are having higher than that. What is average? Yeah, number like. So this is a problem of across all socioeconomic socioeconomic category. Yeah, in Malaysia. And by ethnicity, we see the highest in other ethnic group, yeah, which is not classified here, and then followed by other Bumiputera, Malay, yeah, Indian, and Chinese. Okay, and all the ethnic group prevalence for all ethnic group also exceeding the upper middle income countries average of 6.9%. But I must let you know that there's a certain limitation to the measurement of stunting. Yeah, significant deterioration within the normal range may also occur. So that means even in child who is having a normal weight, a normal height for the age, it may be that that person's height is what we call as the not it is a norm, yeah. So it's a norm, but it's not necessarily reflecting a normal range, a normal SHN normal. Yeah, we don't know. So the cutoff that we use may be just explaining it's normal, but it may be not the normal thing. So we don't know. Yeah, science is complicated as such, but that's the cutoff we use in many countries. That's the cutoff that we use to compare, contrast data from many countries. Yeah. Having said that, if the children given a chance, opportunity to grow and develop in a very good environment, they should be able to grow similarly. Yeah, in terms of their growth, height, and so on. Yeah. So from that perspective, we think that that's the cutoff that we should use. All right. The other thing that we should also give attention to is imprecision measurement. Yeah, because this is really depending on how we measure the height. Yeah, so it is therefore it exposed to the differences in the way we measure the height. Yeah, because height measurement must be done in certain procedure. If it's not done in that procedure, it probably not reflecting the proper height. Yeah, so that's the limitation when it comes to data from many countries. Now I'm going to talk about childhood or overweight and obesity in Malaysia. We're going to look at the trend data in Malaysia. Yeah, this is obesity prevalence in children from 2019. Yeah, so children in total there are around 15% being obese. Sorry, the blue one reflecting obesity, and the gray one reflecting overweight. So 15% here overweight, and 15% more are obese. Yeah, slightly more in boys compared to girls, and the ages like from 5 to 17 years old. Yeah, this is a national level data in 2019. What is the trend like? For overweight, the trend is definitely increasing over time. Yeah, this is also a modeled model data, but the model data prediction is that between 2000 to 2000, beyond 2015, we see increase in the trend of overweight over time. Yeah, both in boys and girls, but slightly more in the trend is increasing, but boys are more likely to be more overweight compared to girls. Yeah, but the trend is increasing for both. Now, what about the real data? Real data showing increase. Yeah, increment between 2006 and 2019 now. This is data again from the Malaysian National Health and Mobility Survey in 2006, 2011, 2015, and 2019. We see increment, rather drastic between 2011 and 2019. Yeah. So this is obesity alone. Yeah, 15%. Yeah, around 15% of our children are obese. All right. This reflected as in more than 1 million children were obese in 2019. Yeah, more than 1 million. That's a huge number. Okay, and what is the prediction like? The prediction for obesity, same goes with overweight. We will see increment, yeah, in the number of obesity beyond 2015, yeah. and the boys will show more obesity prevalence compared to girls. And what is the age group like? Yeah, the age group here, just to show you data taken from school health unit, Ministry of Health Malaysia. So school take measurement of their weight and height in school, right? Our children are being measured at every start of the year. But not this year, probably because of the COVID problem that we have. And when the physical school were happening, their weight and height were measured, and this is the data showing. Yeah, so the highest is in the red. Yeah, the red here, this is year 6, darjah 6. Okay, year 6 children having the highest obesity prevalence, followed by form 3, and then darjah 1, form 1, year 1. All right. Okay, in terms of socioeconomic level, we saw stunting happening across the socioeconomic level, right, earlier on. With obesity is more common among those from a higher income level. So this is a study from by my friend in Terengganu. They found that this is among over 3,000 adolescents in Terengganu, Malaysia. They found that children from the higher socioeconomic level are having higher chances, yeah, more than 1 time, more than 1.5 and 1.7 times more likely to develop or to have obesity. Yeah, this is according to household income as well as the socioeconomic level. Yeah, we have a classification that can be done, and those children from the higher socioeconomic level are having 2.3 times more likely to have obesity. Okay, and this is children, yeah, adolescent age 12. So what is the consequences of stunting? When we talk about stunting, definitely having devastating effects on the growth, yeah, and also other problems. The consequences of stunting includes impaired brain and development. Therefore, the child might have lower IQ, yeah, so having lower cognitive level. Therefore, she or he cannot cope of normal education. Having low birth weight, born with low birth weight, yeah, having weakened immune system leading to increased risk of infectious disease, and this is the reason why a lot of children die, yeah, in 1,000 days, yeah, from conception to a child of 2 years old. And also there are some permanent damage, for example, like low IQ, and also risk of diabetes. These are all the permanent damages, yeah. And the other thing is premature death, yeah, because they have infectious diseases and so on, premature death, and loss of productivity and increased healthcare costs, yeah, because all these people need more attention, medical care, so increased healthcare costs. So it's specifically just want to let you know that there are short-term and long-term effects of stunting, yeah, short-term as in impaired brain development, as I mentioned just now. So the child might have lower IQ, and also weakened immune system. Yeah, the long-term effect is that if the child managed to grow up to adulthood, the person who's been stunted might have lost productivity and healthcare costs because of the various disease problem they might have. Smaller stature, yeah, they may look smaller, and therefore they probably are more obese and having greater risk of diabetes and cancer, and therefore they probably have high chances or likelihood of having premature death over time. Yeah, the lifetime cost of stunting is huge. Yeah, it's really huge. It's child mortality. Yeah, stunted children are 4 times more likely to die, yeah, than children who are not stunted. Low IQ scores, yeah, and low income, even if they in the workforce later, because of the low IQ, because of low education, not complete. The children with adults who are stunted earn less compared to those adults who are not stunted, normal adults. And also in countries like Ethiopia, stunting problem contributes to losses in GDP, yeah, as high as 16%. So we're talking macro level here. Economy also affected because of this. And the most alarming thing of stunting is that it goes beyond one generation. Yeah. So a stunted child may grow up and become malnourished young girl. Yeah. And this young girl, if she get pregnant, she probably in this risk of having malnutrition problem during pregnancy. Yeah. When we talk about 1,000 days of critical intervention period, we include the period of pregnancy, yeah, and up when the baby is born up to 2 years old. So all this is 1,000 days, yeah. So it's very important that we have to intervene something a very critical intervention window. So if this happens, even when she is pregnant, it is more likely that the baby born to this girl to be underweight or to have also a stunting problem. So this is cycle of stunting, yeah, which is very alarming because it goes more than one lifetime, yeah. Now, what is the consequences of childhood obesity? Okay, so you probably know about this. Yeah, I just want to let you know that obesity harms children and young people as in adolescent. Yeah, and there's a lot of problem linked to obesity, emotional and behavioral problem, as in there's a lot of bullying happening in school. These children may have low self-esteem. There's a lot of problem surrounds the stigmatization. School absent, yeah, very common that children who's obese more likely don't want to go to school anymore because of the problem in school, yeah. The children also may have high cholesterol, high blood pressure, pre-diabetes problem, bone and joint problems, and also breathing difficulties, yeah, sleep apnea, and so on. All right, and the other thing is that this child who's obese, they are at a very high risk of becoming overweight adults. Yeah, and therefore risk of ill health and premature mortality is very much higher. Yeah, in these children. The other thing about medical complication of childhood obesity is what you can see on the slide. There's various problems linked to childhood obesity. Yeah, from from neurological, cardiovascular, endocrine problem, yeah, musculoskeletal, up to gastrointestinal and psychosocial problem. Yeah, so there's various number of consequences of childhood obesity. Yeah. The when I mentioned, I think I mentioned just now, yeah, there are things that overlaps between stunting and obesity. Yeah, the thing that is overlaps here, yeah, as you can probably see, some of the diet, yeah, this is what we call as lost healthy life years, yeah, due to ill health. Okay, so child becoming ill, or the child becoming adult becoming ill because of the stunting problem or obesity problem. The number of years lost due to the ill health is calculated as daily. Yeah, daily related. Daily is known as disability adjusted life years. Yeah, it's a measure of overall disease burden. Okay. So diet low in nutrition foods are a leading cause of healthy life years lost. Yeah, and a diet that is like, if you see here, arrow going down is a diet that is low in. Yeah, arrow going up, a diet is high in. So this one is going down. Yeah, whole grains is definitely going down. Yeah, the intake of whole grains is definitely going down, and this is the reason for ischemic heart disease. Yeah, and in in yellow bar here. Yeah, contributing to the loss number of years lost due to ischemic heart disease. Yeah, is high because of low intakes of whole grains. This is how we interpret this data, this table. Yeah, and the other thing that I want to mention is vegetables. Yeah, the vegetables intakes is rather low. Yeah, we're not consuming enough vegetables, and this is the reason number of years lost due to ill health, and this is mostly contributed to ischemic heart disease. Yeah, and also followed by other cancers and intracerebral hemorrhage. Right. The sugar sweetened beverages, there's not much data here. Yeah, but the trend is the intakes of sugar sweetened beverages is really high, and this is the reason why there is number of years lost due to diabetes mellitus. Yeah, and Consequences of childhood obesity. Yeah, a child that's obese more likely to become adult obese, yeah, obese in the later life, yeah, later stage of life, yeah. So a healthy child who's exposed to this environment with, being sedentary, having high fat foods, only, very focused on academic, no other physical activity, are more likely to become mildly obese child, yeah, here. And because there's no much activity, yeah, has been habits of not doing much activity, even to climb the stairs is becoming a very tiring activity for this person, yeah, for this child. And therefore this kind of exposure environment expose the child to become moderately obese child, and become severely obese child, and also later in life become obese adult, where they probably have all these health conditions, yeah. So this is a vicious cycle of child obesity. So there are many time points where we can actually cut, yeah, we can intervene and try to prevent this healthy child from becoming severely obese child and becoming adults who are obese adult, yeah, later in life. So there are quite a number of time points where you can actually focus on the intervention. So when we talk about drivers of stunting and obesity, just want to let you know that there's no single cause. I'm very sorry. Yeah, no single cause, no single bullet intervention. Yeah, the reason for this is that when you look at stunting is very complex. Yeah, complex interaction of household, environmental, socio-economic, and cultural influences. Yeah, and therefore it's very complex. There's no single cause. It's not that easy to intervene. Yeah, but can be done. Still, there are possibility. It's just that it's very complex. Yeah. For obesity, same goes to stunting. Yeah. Similarly, like stunting, it's also very complex, faceted. So therefore, the driver of obesity is also it's not as straightforward as such. Yeah. There are many multifaceted factors. I'll show it to you in a while what I mean by multifaceted. And therefore, this is probably the reason why we see to slow improvement or no improvement in certain prevalence of the stunting and obesity. So UNICEF, they actually came out with this conceptual framework for undernutrition. Yeah, the reason I'm showing you this framework is to show you how complicated is this stunting problem, and the risk factors for stunting. Stunting can be from a very macro level, from very broader picture, yeah, up to a very simple immediate level. All right. So when I'm talking about basic causes comprises of all this. Okay, at the bottom. So here we see bottom to top. Yeah, bottom to top. So bottom comprises of basic causes. Yeah, including household access to adequate quantity and quality of resources. Yeah, and this is including land, education, no employment, low income, and not having access to technology or having information. All right. So these are the basic causes like, and the underlying causes including household food insecurity. When I mentioned about household food insecurity is inability to have access to food at the household level. Yeah. And also the other thing that I need to give attention to is inadequate care and feeding practices. Children is not having enough or sufficient care, or not being fed. The feeding practices are not what we call not optimal or not good enough. Yeah. And unhealthy household environment. Yeah, this is including sanitation, hygiene, clean water supply, sewerage, and so on. Yeah, and also the living condition and many other things. Yeah. The other component is inadequate health services. That means access to health services. Yeah, very much relevant to people who are living in a rural parts. Yeah, because they have less access to health services and so on. And all this, yeah, in a way, directly or indirectly affecting the immediate causes. And immediate causes here, we're talking about inadequate dietary intake, and disease. Okay, the beauty of this UNICEF conceptual framework is they mention about how these immediate underlying or basic causes can have an effect on both the mothers, being pregnant mothers, and also the children. Yeah, so affecting both the mothers and the children. So once mothers or women and children is being taken care, at a very optimal level, we can actually see reduction in stunting. This is the key message of this UNICEF conceptual framework. Yeah, so if the mothers and the children are given due care and so on, we can actually avoid stunting or other malnutrition problem. Yeah, so maternal and child undernutrition happens when these all are not, accomplished in a good way, and therefore we have short-term consequences as mortality, morbidity, disability, and also the long-term consequences as I mentioned just now. Yeah, the thing about this is intergenerational consequences. So a mother who's stunted may actually deliver or have babies who are also stunted. Yeah, so this is what we have to really give attention. Yeah, because this is intergenerational. Yeah, go beyond one lifetime. So when I was looking for, just because UNICEF conceptual framework earlier on was very complicated. Yeah, and probably not easy to understand or to take the message at one glance. Yeah, and having said that, even this figure that you see is so colorful here. I'll explain to you why it is so colorful. But here it's much more easier in the sense that what it tells you is that it has a rank. So all the factors here on top here, these are the factors or drivers of stunting, that people have come across from the study, from research and so on. And when they rank this, there's a way of doing this is also modeling, and also published in a very good, fantastic journal, JAMA. When they rank this with some prediction and some modeling, they found that those in the red or in the orange here, it's ranked number one and number two. So you will be surprised to see this actually coincide with UNICEF conceptual framework just now when I mentioned that when we take care of this stature, maternal stature, or woman who's stunted, we can actually prevent stunting, in the next generation. So short maternal stature is being number one. So these are the risk factor for stunting, and followed by lack of maternal education. Lack of maternal education can be reflected as in lack of education, lack of awareness, lack of information, low income, and so on. So that's many risks associated to this, and followed by poorest household wealth, low maternal BMI, and so on. So these are the rank like. Okay, so when I say short maternal stature, this is less than 145 centimeter. Okay, so we know from this figure what we need to do. What are the risk factors that we need to intervene about. Okay, stunting and poverty is closely tied. Malnutrition is closely tied to poverty, and this is from the UNICEF 2019 report. They mentioned that countries that from lower middle income countries or low income countries in this green, light green and green, they are more likely to have stunting problem compared to high income countries, where high income countries or upper middle income countries are here reflecting low number of stunting. So it's always a problem of poverty, and so on, And this is tackling obesity. So when I say just now that obesity complex, multifaceted problem, this is what I meant. What you see in the slide here is what I call as spaghetti meatball. Spaghetti meatball, where you have a couple of circles here and there. This is a big topic. Circles here and there. So this is the meatball. The links between all these is what we call spaghetti meatball. So it is very complex. Yeah, very complex. There's so many factors associated here, so many correlation. It's all multifaceted and so on. Yeah, but what we have to understand from this foresight tackling obesity report is that the heart of this complex spaghetti meatball diagram that you see here is energy intake. Yeah, so energy intake as in like we have to tackle the energy intake being we have to avoid excess energy intake and increase the energy expenditure as in physical activity. Yeah, so this is what we what I would like to tell you as a key message from this figure. Yeah. And another study that's published in New England Journal of Medicine in 2018, another fantastic journal, yeah, they have mentioned that some of the early life factors contributes to childhood obesity, yeah, and these early life factors are modifiable, and this includes prenatal and postnatal risk factors. What it does tell you is that, if a child is not exposed to any of the risk factors, for example, smoking during pregnancy or excessive gestational weight gain, a child who is breastfed at least for 12 months and having good sleep, at least of 12 hours during infancy, and having less chances of developing obesity in comparison to a child who is exposed to all of these having 28% or 30% of developing obesity. Yeah, so early life, yeah, even during pregnancy is very important. So in utero factors, yeah, that's very important to childhood obesity, also for stunting also, yeah. So both are very important. What I'm trying to tell you is that, pregnancy is a period that's really very important for preventing, yeah, these problems of malnutrition. And other risk factors for childhood obesity, of course, is not only the early life factors, but also less walking and less physical activity, yeah, less food intakes that comprise of dietary fiber or Mediterranean type of dietary pattern. This is dietary pattern, yeah, a very big topic on this, but less vegetables, less fruit is or olive oil is one of their plus here, or have not been breastfed adequately. Yeah, and on the same time, the high intakes of Western diet, fast food, increased screen time, and intake of sugar, sweetened beverages. All these in combination may cause childhood obesity. Yeah. The things that not given enough attention in Malaysia, definitely that we are not giving attention to food advertising aimed at children, community environment that inhibit active living, and also increase availability of low cost, high calorie, refined grains and added sugars, which is also very important and also been linked with childhood obesity. Yeah. Diet, diets of infant and young children are suboptimal everywhere, and this is the reason for stunting and obesity. Both can be linked to this, yeah, and how this differ across the quantiles, yeah, and also between urban and rural areas, yeah. So the one that in blue here showing the differences between lowest quantile of wealth and highest quantile of wealth. So if I were to do this, if I were to distribute the wealth of people, yeah, from lower to higher, so higher meaning higher socioeconomic level, lower meaning lower socioeconomic level. Yeah. So this is the comparison, like, yeah, if you want to know how we do this, yeah. So very vast differences were found for continued breastfeeding at 2 years, yeah, whereby only those children from the lowest quintile are getting this breastfeeding. Mothers are breastfeeding up to 2 years. Continued breastfeeding at 1 year, also similar to 2 years. Yeah, only the children from the lowest quintile are seen to being breastfed until 1 year. And minimal acceptable diet, also there was difference here. So what I mean minimal acceptable diet is when this is a composite measure of meal frequency and dietary diversity. Yeah, so there's a score for this. Yeah. And minimum dietary diversity, also there's a vast difference here between lowest quintile and highest quintile. Highest quintile children receiving more than 5 food groups. That means they eat food from more than 4 food groups. That means they have combination of different food groups, yeah, in their diet. And minimum meal frequency also seen to be higher in children from highest quintile. Yeah, that means children from highest quintile are receiving all these diet that's variety. There's a variety of food groups, but not necessarily being breastfed enough. Yeah, so this is the difference that we see. The rest, we don't see that much of difference between the wealth in terms of lowest and highest quintile, and similarly in terms of rural urban. Children or mothers from rural urban areas, they do similarly, they do things similarly. Yeah, so only the wealth indicates certain way and how children's diet consuming. They are suboptimal, yeah, definitely. This is an increase in infant formula sales. Yeah, I'm talking about infant formula sales here because there's definitely a trend and patterns in per infant or child commercial breast milk substitute sales, yeah, in by different regions in the world from 2005 to 2017, that definitely contributes to childhood obesity, yeah. And we see in Asia, of course, the consumption of commercial infant formula is not so much compared to other component other country or other region, for example, North America or Europe here, definitely lower than them. But we see the trend increasing. Yeah, this is up to 2017, and it's predicted to increase. Yeah, and this is the different commercial infant formula sales line. Yeah, we have standard, we have special, we have growing up, and so on. Yeah, follow up and so on. Definitely, this is the reason linked to childhood obesity. And the other thing that I want to also highlight is the intakes of fruit, vegetable, and sugar-sweetened beverages. Yeah, sugar-sweetened beverages is soda, soda carbonated drinks. All right. In some regions, up to 33% of school-age children eat no fruit daily. Yeah, so that means no fruit at all. Yeah, 33% in certain region, and up to 59% of children consume soda. Yeah, daily. Yeah, daily soda, and this is from the Latin America and the Caribbean. Yeah, and up to this is a percentage of how much fruit or vegetables being consumed. But if you see in certain region, up to 33% not consuming fruit daily. Yeah, so it's definitely a reason why we see a lot of a problem in increasing overweight. Yeah, in recent days. And this is diet based on World Bank income group. Yeah, children from I'm just want to show you that children from low income countries, they consume less than daily fruit intake. Yeah, those from low income countries consume fruit less frequently compared to those from the higher income countries. Yeah, similarly to vegetable. Yeah, so adults from low income countries consume vegetable less frequently. Yeah, and sugar sweetened beverages, on the other hand, we see a reverse trend in the intakes, whereby more adolescents from high income countries drink carbonated soft drinks at least once a day. Yeah, once a day. Yeah, once a day they drink carbonated drinks or soda or sugar sweetened beverages. And same goes to fast food intake. Yeah, this is in top level, and this is in the bottom level. Yeah, different depending on the income group level. Yeah, regions and the income group. I would like to highlight to you that stunting rates can be improved. Yeah, there are many avenue or opportunities where we can actually prevent stunting. And stunting can be reduced in one lifetime. Yeah, actually we can actually reduce stunting. Even if you born, if a child born having height not appropriate to the age, and growing up also seen not to have appropriate growth, with proper intervention and within the window of intervention, we can actually see improvement in the weight. So even in the lifetime, in the person's lifetime, we can see improvement. And if that improvement can be done, we can actually improve the future generations stunting rates. Yeah. So there's a different, there are many avenue here where we can actually prevent, or reduce stunting rates. Yeah. So when a child is given adequate weaning or timely weaning, the child living in a very good environment with less infection or no infection, or having adequate food, health and care, they should be able to catch up the growth. Yeah, and therefore the child will not necessarily being stunted anymore. Yeah, there is a study intervention says that this can be improved. Yeah, and therefore a child won't be growing as a adolescent stunted, or becoming having if it's a girl, or having various complications due to the stunting problem. Yeah, so there are many avenues actually here that we can improve around this vicious cycle to prevent or reduce stunting rates. And this is, again, I'm showing you a maternal child nutrition UNICEF strategy. I mentioned this earlier on. I showed you earlier on. This is similar way, similar thing. But what I'm telling you, this is all positive. This is all narrated positively. Yeah. So when we have good governance, when we have positive norms as in the enabling determinants, and therefore it will affect, underlying determinants with adequate food. Yeah, so there means no household food insecurity anymore here. We have adequate feeding, adequate feeding, appropriate and responsive feeding and stimulation to the children. And we have healthy environment where access to healthcare is there, and we have a very good health environment, so on. This will actually end up with good diets for children and women, good care for children and women. Therefore, we can improve nutrition for children and women. Yeah, and this is narrated rather positively. And although similar UNICEF conceptual framework, but there's two different way of interpreting this. Yeah, so definitely can be improved if we give the due chance opportunity to these children to grow at optimum level. And similarly, this can be also done with childhood obesity. We can actually end childhood obesity. Yeah, and of course this takes a lot of effort here. Yeah, we need to make sure that promotion intake of healthy food is there. We need to promote children to do more exercise, physical activity, preconception and pregnancy care, as I mentioned just now, because this is also can be a vicious cycle. Yeah, can be also cause future generations obese. Yeah, so therefore preconception and pregnancy care is very important in this sense. Early childhood diet and physical activity. Yeah, this is important because that can become as a habit. Yeah, and tracks over time. Yeah, so poor dietary intakes or no having physical activity can track over the lifetime. Yeah, that means they can maintain the similar habits over the lifetime. So if you prevent this, or if you do give a lot of emphasis on early childhood diet, yeah, importance of healthy diet or physical activity early in life, it is a lot of studies mention that this can also correct. Yeah, and we also have to make sure that healthy nutrition, physical activity for school age children is there in the school itself. Yeah, and of course we need to have weight management, as in like we need to have a very good healthcare, especially skilled people who can help to tackle weight management. And this is global syndromic figure, where this is part of the Lancet Commission report. Yeah, they go both beyond than two. Yeah, triple duty action, for example, when we reduce red meat consumption. Yeah, and this not only improve the number of obesity cases, but it can also improve undernutrition. For example, it can work as in the more land efficient, sustainable agriculture, because we don't have much of the cows or we don't have to wreck house so much, but we can actually give opportunity for people to grow or farm, do more farming and so on. Therefore, improve their poverty level and so on. Yeah, improve the undernutrition. And the other thing that's really very interesting about this triple duty action is also help with climate change. Also another topic that we talk these days. Yeah, so that's one example about reduced red meat consumption. We can also look at the transport mode shift, sustainable dietary guidelines, yeah, where we promote food and beverage choices for health and sustainability, yeah, and also restrict commercial influences. So if you want to know more about this, you can have actually read about this global syndemic, the Lancet Commission report. Very interesting, the way how they say that we cannot really depending on double duty action, but we have to, there are avenue to look at this in a triple way, yeah, triple duty actions, and also we can yield multiple benefits across the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, yeah. Global Nutrition Report in 2018 says there's the 5 critical steps in preventing stunting and also obesity. Yeah, malnutrition in overall, there should be we should break down the silos and develop comprehensive programs. So we cannot work in silo. Yeah, it's not only one discipline problem. We have to actually integrate many agencies, institutes and so on. Yeah, so it's multidisciplinary kind of work. Yeah. Number 2, prioritize and invest in data needed and capacity to use it. So we need to have data. We actually have more data now than 20 years ago, and we have more data now, and we can do more definitely with all this data. Yeah, we know where we belong, we know where we progress like. So that's very important for future work. Yeah. And scale up and diversify financing for nutrition. Yeah, so we need to have some funding, yeah, to improve nutrition, and this has to come from top, yeah, from top to bottom. So top people have to really we have to prioritize this. Malnutrition is one of the big problem in the health, yeah, so that funding can be done, yeah, to do research or to improve malnutrition in the clinics and so on, yeah. Number 4, focus on healthy diets to drive better nutrition everywhere. Yeah, so this is have to be a headline, not our headline, not to only talk the negative one, but you also have to this. Yeah, we need to make sure healthy diets to drive better nutrition everywhere as one of the top headline everywhere all the time. Yeah, and improve the targets and commitments that are driving actors. Yeah, in terms of improving malnutrition. I didn't touch, one of the limitations of my talk today is that I didn't touch much on the micronutrient deficiency. Yeah, there's lack key evidence for tackling micronutrient deficiency. Yeah, and we do not know the state of micronutrient deficiency in nutritionally vulnerable populations such as children under the age of 5, women and adolescent girls as such. Yeah, in this country. Yeah. There are small studies, but not as a big studies to show what is the progress we are in terms of micronutrient deficiency. So this is just again to tell you about the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. Yeah, and number 2, we are definitely in this number 2, zero hunger. But in fact, actually 12 out of the 17 SDGs are actually linked to improving nutrition. Yeah, improving health in people. Yeah, so yeah, so we have to really give a lot of attention to this, and together we can actually reduce malnutrition level. Toppling malnutrition will help us reach all the SDGs by 2030, and this is what this is what I say that if we can topple the malnutrition problem, we can actually reach all SDGs goals by 2030. Before I end my talk today, I just want to let you know that we are celebrating our 50 years of establishment. Yeah, UPM is 50 years now. Yeah, this is the year for this celebration. If not for this COVID problem, I'm sure there are more activities done. But because of the COVID, it's not. I mean, there are activities, but mostly will be online, virtually based. Just want to let you know that this is a great achievement for us in UPM. And also my faculty where I work, Faculty Perubatan and Sains Kesihatan, we celebrating 25 years of establishment. So it's a silver jubilee celebration for us. So it's two celebration for us. So that's all. Thank you very much for your attention. So yeah, over to you, Dr. Sam.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gita, for the very comprehensive and wonderful presentations. Before I start, congratulations to UPM for your celebrations.
Thank you.
Okay, so as you said, it should be start from the top people, right? Like what we have done in USM, they have some policy on nutritional program. But with the risk of catching the deadly coronavirus, COVID-19, member of the public have been adapt to lockdown and they have already reduced a lot of physical activity. Would you see there will be, I mean, this problem of obesity will be even harder to tackle?
Yes, definitely, Dr. Sam. Because obesity problem is already been there, and we see increase in the number of obesity or weight, not only in children but also in adults. Even during even when there is no COVID time, yeah. So with the COVID, because we all locked down, we have we stay at home. We even reduce the number of steps that we do, at the normal time. This definitely will be a problem. Yeah, there's no data to show this yet, but yeah, it is expected to go up more.
Yeah. Okay, we have one participant raise her hand. Samsuryani, do you want to ask anything? Participant Samsuryani? Otherwise, I will start the question from Facebook. There are quite a number of questions, and in the very early of the presentation, I think they like to talk to you. So one of these questions from Mr. Zainuddin. He asked, what is the best food practice for baby until age of 2? And they said to be guideline for KKM that don't allow food with sugar, salt, and oil during this period. And he would like to ask some advice from you.
Yeah, definitely. Until the age of 2 is very important. It's a very critical window for intervention. So definitely we encourage breastfeeding up to age of 2. Yeah, and on top of breastfeeding, we need to give healthy, safe food for these children. Yeah, during at this age. So when I say healthy, that's to be as in balance, as in variety, not solely focus on single food or two, or not the same thing every day. Must give variety food items, food groups, and balance and in moderation, not too much. And of course, no sugary drinks. Yeah, no sugary drinks. No sweet candies, definitely, because all these are the reasons why the children put a lot of weight, because the energy intakes become more, than what they energy expenditure. So when the energy is in excess, that's the problem. So this is when the children will start putting weight gain. And when they have that habit, also because of the habit, when they are so used to having candies, so used to having juices that's very sweet and so on, these kind of habits, it's very, very hard to break, very hard to prevent.
Yeah, I can feel it. I can feel it.
So yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and from Mr. Zainuddin as well, he asked regarding the lack of micronutrients. Okay, is there any growth curve of a baby lack of micronutrient deficiency, normal or abnormal, or how are we going to know the micronutrient deficiency? So that are in line with one of the questions from the Zoom participant, which is from Dr. To. She asked about what is the best test for malnutrition? Is the BMI a good
percent
or lab check?
Sorry, Dr. Sam, I lost you for a while just now.
Okay, now how about now?
Yeah, now it's good. Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, sure. So, regarding the lack of micronutrient, is there any growth curve for the baby, like to indicate any lack of micronutrients, the curve for the growth, and to indicate normal, abnormal, and how are we going to know whether a baby is micronutrient deficiency? And that question is same as one of our Zoom participant that she asked, what is the best test that we can use for malnutrition? Is that like BMI, or we need to go for a blood check or lab test?
Okay, so in general, what we do is in general care, in clinic and so on, as long as your child achieve the height that is normal for the age, yeah, according to age and gender, yeah, according to the age and gender, if the baby is achieving the weight, the height, and the BMI at the very at the 50th percentile or slightly, around there. I mean, there's no need for you to worry about, micronutrient deficiencies at this stage. So because the babies are growing at the optimum level, so we don't really want to do, all the other tests are quite invasive. For example, if you want to test out if your baby is, or if your child is having deficiency, we have to, withdraw blood. We have to do quite a number of invasive. You don't want to do that to a child, at that young age. The other thing that is that if you really sure that you've been feeding your child at the optimum level, you give all the healthy food, yeah, and if the child is breastfed and if the child is growing at a very optimal level, I don't think this is really needed. Yeah, so that's why we don't want to emphasize a lot of on the micronutrient deficiencies as such. This is definitely a problem in certain pockets of population, yeah, where they don't grow, they don't have optimum level of diet. So that is a problem. But if your child is having all this, if you ask me personally, there's no need for you to test for the micronutrient deficiencies level.
Okay, so and the same participant, he asked, today microbiome has been shown to be essential element in providing micronutrients for good growth. Is that true?
Yeah, yep, definitely. Microbiome is getting its popularity because of the latest. So science as such, we have latest evidence, and nutrition is a field that evolve very fast, rather fast. And today, when I say one thing, tomorrow the evidence is probably a bit different. So this is what happens in the microbiome. We are getting more information. We're getting a lot of evidence in terms of microbiome, prebiotic and such. So it's getting popularity. It's definitely a very important field because your gut system has to be very healthy, so that your digestion works at a very optimum level. So that's one of the things that's very linked to preventing stunting. But I didn't give a lot of information on that because it's microbiome in general. If you want to give a child food that is high in microbiome and so on, it's quite costly. So not all people can afford this. Yeah, not all people can afford this. So even with supplementing microbiome, for example, from infant formula, some infant formula have prebiotic in it. The data is showing not so much of beneficial effects yet. Yeah, but it's definitely an important thing in adults. Yeah, not in children. But all I want to say is, like, if you want to feed your children, feed as healthy as possible. No sugaries, no sugar, no high sugar intakes, no candies, no sugar sweetened beverages. I mean, if you give them all the healthy stuff, vegetable, all the beautiful fruits and legumes and the proteins and so on, your child is having more than enough already. Yeah, that should be enough, adequate already. But if you want to give on top of that the prebiome thing, if you think you are you're socio-economically well off to do that, yes, please.
So talking about the social economic, why this participant Isha Kamil, she asked why is it children in a higher social economic status are also facing the stunting problems, despite the factor that we say social economic may be one of the main reason, right?
Yeah, we do see more cases from the lower socioeconomic level, but there are also cases where we see this from the higher socioeconomic level. The thing is, just stunting is very complex in a way that there's many factors. So the child, the parents may be too busy to notice the child is stunted. Yeah, maybe too busy to even give them proper child feeding practices. Yeah, maybe there are many reasons for that, and that could be the reasons that the child from the higher socioeconomic level. Most important is the child feeding. Yeah, at that stage, child feeding is utmost important, and it's really important that your child is being fed at very optimum level in terms of their diet. Yeah, so if the parents are too busy, they work day and night, they have less time to, and then they leave this to a childcare, or they leave this to their grandparents, or they leave this to their mates. Sometimes we don't know what is being fed and so on. So they probably not fed adequately or sufficiently, that we see this problem. Yeah. That's the reason.
Another participant, Dr. Tiger, he asked, he would like to comment. Thanks for the nice sharing, Dr. Gita. What are the common communicable disease among the undernourished kids in Malaysia? And also, it is quite worrying to see obesity as one of the one side and malnutrition on another side. Perhaps can you please advise us what causes this, and are we doing anything to mitigate this, and can we blame the parents alone?
No, not the parents alone. Of course, this is not parents. If you saw my slide on the drivers of the stunting and obesity, it's not really parents. So please don't be too hard on yourself. Sometimes the problem is happening because of many other reasons, many other factors that multifaceted problems. So yeah, even if you do much at home, but we don't know what the child is eating in school, yeah, maybe we are not doing enough. Yeah, maybe we are not. We think we do enough, but maybe that's not enough. Yeah, in the to prevent the childhood obesity, or childhood obesity in this case. Yeah, so it's an alarming problem, definitely. As I mentioned just now, it's an alarming problem. We see increase in childhood obesity prevalence, and in children, and also in adults. Yeah, similarly in adults. Whereas stunting also a problem, definitely in Malaysia.
Yeah, and there's a very specific question, I think quite specific for this Mr. Deng. He asked for type 1 diabetes patient, okay, and KKM has a very strict rules in diet management during pregnancy, okay. So would there be any alternative suggestions to avoid malnutrition issue as discussed today? Does eating supplement improvise this? Because they need to reduce their intake of food because of the blood sugar, to control the blood sugar level. Yeah.
Okay, so eating supplement is definitely a very big topic, and I'm a dietitian myself, and a lot of dietitian and nutritionists outside there probably will agree with me, saying this, that we do not recommend the intake of supplement. Yeah, we do not recommend the intake of supplements in otherwise healthy people. Yeah, because you can get all the vitamins, the micronutrients from the diet. Yeah, so if you consume diet healthily, this should be able to provide you all the vitamins or micronutrients, yeah, from the diet. But in the case of certain health conditions, yeah, for example, type 1 diabetes just now, or other health condition, there might be a time where you need to take supplements. That is exceptional. Yeah, that's exceptional, because you definitely need to have. Please discuss with your dietitian. Please discuss with your doctor. Yeah, about supplement. Yeah, because we don't want to. I don't want to tell you now that you can consume, and then you go and consume, and then you end up with toxicity. We don't want to have that, because certain vitamin can end up can cause toxicity and so on. Yeah, So please discuss with dietitian. This needs individual consultation, yeah, because we need to know how much you're getting from diet, how much you're getting from supplement, and we need to calculate and so on. We need to, take into account of many sources of micronutrients that you're getting. Yeah, so it definitely needs more discussion with your dietitian or physician. Yeah, so only if you have health condition. But if you're healthy, yeah, I don't think you need to spend your money or waste your money on supplement, because all you know is at the end of the day it provides little benefits to your health. Yeah, maybe little or to almost no benefits at all. So you're just wasting your money, because you can then spend the money on buying healthy food, for example, consume more vegetables, consume more fruits, proteins and so on, which is abundant, and they are abundant in nutrients and vitamins that you need.
Yeah. So is vegetarian a problem? So because there's this she asked, may I know vegetarian has a higher risk of suffering from double burden of malnutrition? Because in some vegetarian community they eat quite a lot of carbohydrate in comparison to
because they need to compensate, because they don't eat animal-based products, right? So they have to compensate the loss for the animal-based products with high number of carbo or fat. So that's why you see, even they're vegetarian, they can be also obese. Yeah, not only carbo, they also have refined carbo, like as in sugar and so on. So all these contributes to excess energy and end up with being obese. So that is a problem, definitely. Vegetarians should know that the balance, even if you're not consuming animal products, but there are a lot of plant-based products that provides enough protein, for in your diet. So in that case, you won't be eating excess of carbo and so on to compensate the loss of animal-based products. So definitely, if you certain vegetarians, like vegans, because they don't consume a lot of they rather they have a very strict intakes, they may take supplement in that case. Yeah, but a lot of studies says that if you combine your food with all the fruits, all the vegetables, all the legumes, the beautiful legumes that you have, all the the different legumes, it should be enough to provide you all the deficiencies. Example, so what is the difference between vegetarian people and non-vegetarian people is the intakes of their iron, intakes of omega-3. Yeah, so these are the difference. So all these different legumes should be able to give you all the differences, should topple add up the differences, in comparison to non-vegetarian people. So you got to eat more of that.
So from Adeline, she asked, is that possible oversized children is also stunting at the same time?
Yes. I mentioned this in my slide just now in my talk, that children who are stunted because they are short, because they're short for their age, and if they put on weight, they may become obese. Easily become obese compared to normal child. Because normal child, of course, because how we calculate obesity is by dividing weight over height, can. So weight, if the height is lower, weight is more, you're definitely in a higher category of BMI. So therefore, you are obese. Easily can become obese, actually.
And there's this asking, what indicator for pregnant mother in the stunted criteria? Is it height below 145 cm? Stated in the buku record kesihatan, the red book, is a risk for mother. Is that a stunting criteria? This Amira asked.
Yes. So even in my talk, in my presentation just now, short stature is meant like any height below than 145 centimeter. So that is definitely a risk for stunting.
Okay, and then from this Samini, it's also quite a specific question. My father is facing early diabetes, and I am seeking for guidance on what he should avoid.
Diabetic patient definitely need to avoid all the refined carbo and complement carbo with, carbohydrate, as there are whole grains that provides more fiber, and the refined grains. We have to really definitely avoid all the refined grains because it's high in sugar and so on. So the whole grains is important, and more fruits, more vegetables, even fruits also. You cannot be consuming all type of fruits, especially the tropical fruits, because they're high in sugar. So really have to jaga the portion. And diabetes patient, you have to have specific consultation with dietitian. Again, I would like to emphasize this. Please see dietitian of the clinic for better consultation. Because here I can give you a general kind of advice, but you need an individual advice because it's really depending on what your consumption like. So I need to know your history, what you've been consuming, and how can I help you to reduce those and that. So that needs a private one-to-one consultation with your dietitian. So all my suggestion was very, very much in general.
And this is from Healthcare Pro Learning. They ask, is it necessary to give multivitamin to kids? Actually, I mean, I like what you say. Actually, you are not recommended unless they have problem or they have specific needs towards this. But we do see the trend of most of the parents nowadays, they will give a multivitamin, just to, to grow their immune system. I mean, with a lot of their reasons.
My answer will be similar, Sam. It's no. I mean, if you give your child the best of the diet, the best of the healthy diet, I don't think you need to give them the multivitamin supplements as such. Because that can be actually can be provided by the healthy food that you give your children.
I think last from the participant from Tivia. Thanks, doctor, for the insightful sharing. We would like to ask about the natural herbal consumption as part of the dietary preventive measure. Was it advisable? Let me answer on your behalf. I think no.
Yes. The reason is why, Dr. Sam, it's because we don't have much evidence. Herbal medicine, it's not that. I mean, it is regulated. If you want to start selling your product, that's why it's much regulation is there. But I worry the less regulated products, the one that didn't get any approval from our pharmaceutical bureau and so on. Those are the things. Those are the products that the process of developing the product is not scrutinized, by the body, by regulatory body. So we don't know how they make it, what was the ingredient and so on. Because there's so many outside there, and so we don't know what is the safe one, what is a safe one, because we don't have scientific evidence behind that. And as a person who believes more data, more evidence, scientific evidence than myself, our answer is no, please, because we don't know what is the content of the herbal medicine. So, as a pharmacist, I think Dr. Sam, you probably agree with me, on this, because there's so many outside there, and a lot of it got a lot of toxin and toxicity, inherited toxicity. So we don't want to, damage our children's organ very early in life as such. So please don't do that.
If they have a problem, of course they will need to have supplement. If not, of course, from the food they'll be sufficient. When I say that was the last question, but there's these participants still are posting questions, so I will give in to this. As we discussed, that prevalence of malnutrition is expected to increase due to pandemic. Would like to ask your opinion. What are the current effective strategy to overcome this problem in Malaysia during this pandemic periods?
Strategy like governmental strategy, or
I think more of like
governmental.
this malnutrition. I think they are seeing the limitation of this pandemic, like online learning. People have been sitting all day long, no physical activity, no gathering, no awareness campaign. What we can actually do with that?
Yeah, with this, I mean, let me relate that to the problem of obesity. Yeah. So if you are trying, if you think that you are putting a lot of weight, you want to lose weight, please don't do the crash diets. Yeah. Don't follow any crash diet, because diets that focusing on certain macronutrient is definitely not recommended by a lot of dietitians and nutritionists in Malaysia. Yeah, the reason is because if you lack a certain macronutrient, you try to compensate that macronutrient with another macronutrient, and then it may not help you. Yeah, and also because of sustainability of this kind of diet, crash diet normally don't sustain way too long. Yeah, how there are time limit. For example, if you are following certain diet, you can follow, you probably follow that up to certain period of time, 6 months, 1 year, but what happens after that? That's when your weight, you gain your weight again. So there's a lot of yo-yo weight gain there. So weight gain, weight loss, weight gain, weight loss is what we call yo-yo trend. So please don't do that. And if you want to, have a healthy lifestyle, even at home, you can do this. You consume diet in moderation, balanced diet, yeah, variety of diet. And if you follow that suku separuh pinggan, we have healthy plate, healthy plate for Malaysia. That's like suku separuh. So suku, a portion of your carbo, so your carbohydrate, your cereals, your rice, that. And the suku portions of protein, as in chicken, as in fish. Yeah, if you're vegetarian, then this is where your legumes, your soya products, all that. And half should be fruits and vegetables. So if you do this for your 3 main meal, yeah, suku separuh. If you do this for your 3 main meal, you should be able to get all the nutrients. The beauty of this suku separuh is because we emphasize more on the vegetables and fruits, less of the carbo. And carbo should be whole grains, if possible, brown rice and so on. But not everybody likes them. That's okay. If you consume white rice, okay, but make sure it's suku portion. And if you do this for your 3 major meals, you should be able to maintain your weight or lose. In people who are obese or overweight, they probably even lose because they don't. That should be enough for your whole day energy intake. Yeah, if you need to snack in between, choose a healthy ones. Yeah, and if you follow this every day, you should be able to maintain your weight or even lose weight in some people. And on top of that, of course, the other flip of the coin is physical activity. Yeah, I always encourage people, if your diet alone, that won't be sufficient, because you have to do this in combination with physical activity. You can walk around your house, try to stand, when you work. Yeah, you don't have to sit all the time. I didn't do that this for this talk, but we can also stand while working. And now with this MCO, I mean, MKN allows us to go for jogging. Yeah, so if you jog, you can jog alone, you can jog with your partner. Yeah, that is possible. So there are chances to do physical activity still even during this MCO time. And more reason to do, because you're at home, you are not spending way too much time on the traffic. Yeah, now we don't drive to work, so less time on the traffic. We can use that time to do the physical activity. Yeah, and do housework and do gardening. So this is all the things that you can do to increase the step counts or the physical activity, like at home. So there are a lot of ways to do this, even at home. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Geeta, for a very wonderful, insightful talk and very informative. If I allow, because I have been asking on behalf of the participant, I would like to ask for myself. Is there any? Do you know how to people differentiate these milk powders and the brand? How they are recognizing, because there are some brands they are really overpriced, and some is really cheap. Though I think I acknowledge that they may be some different in terms of their ingredients, but both also cited they have high calcium, both cited they have good this and that, and DHA, both cited they have. What is your advice on this kind of choice? Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, Dr. Sam, that's a very good question. But before I answer you, I just want to emphasize the need that we need to breastfeed our children. Yeah. If possible, breastfeed. Yeah. Breast milk is the best. Yeah. So I'm doing like an advertisement. Breast milk is the best. Yeah. But if this is not possible for many reasons, many reasons, a lot of women can't do this for many variety of reasons. Infant formula is the choice. Okay. Infant formula, let me just let you know that infant formula in Malaysia or many other countries, infant formula has come under very tight scrutiny. Yeah, we scrutinize every infant formula that's being introduced in the market. Okay, what we scrutinize is that there's a very tight regulation about this. Is that the number of ingredients should be in certain levels. Yeah, and most of the infant formula in Malaysia, they actually similar in terms of ingredients. If you notice that, it's similar to a certain extent. It's similar. The basic one should be similar. So paying for more, paying for more that added nutrients that have certain formulas that probably have added nutrients. I will come back to the added nutrients in a while. Is purely an option. Yeah. So certain parents thinking that some infant formula which is expensive, it's probably much better because they probably have the highest quality or the better ingredient compared to the not so expensive one. But let me assure you, they're probably almost the similar way, similar level of ingredients in it. Just that sometimes we have this added DHA, omega. Okay, we have, for example, prebiotic in certain ingredient, which is expensive. Prebiotic and DHA is quite expensive. Or sometimes we have the other added nutrients. This probably the only difference you see between the many infant formulas. So that probably, therefore, they're probably a little bit more expensive. But sometimes they are a lot more expensive. They're probably double or triple, right? Some of the infant formula. So yeah, I mean, you could go for the cheaper ones because that one should be able to give you all the benefits. Yeah. So a lot of scientific evidence telling you're paying for expensive formula milks won't actually give you any much benefits compared to the lower or the less expensive infant formula. So it's optional. Yeah, it's definitely optional. As a consumer, I think you should go and survey and research about the differences in terms of ingredients and so on. If they're similar, yeah, we should might as well go for the lesser or a cheaper option. Yeah, because scientific evidence is telling that expensive one is not necessarily to be better in that sense. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Gita. Thanks for this very comprehensive talk. Let me give you a round of applause. I don't know if you can hear or not.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Okay. Thanks everyone for audience. For your information, you can actually fill in our Google link that my admin will send to you to get the e-certificates. And do not forget that this is do not forget that this is a webinar that is organized by Southeast Asia Sustainability Network, co-organized with Malaysian Society of Pharmaceutical Technology, USM. Okay, and thanks everyone. So we shall call for the day. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.
Dr. Sam.
Bye.